My name is Wadzanai Santole, and these are the stories you can look forward to on the bulletin. President Mnangagwa believes Zimbabwe's assumption of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa vice chairmanship post gives the country a front row seat to shape the powerful bloc's agenda and advance regional integration. Stay tuned for highlights on his speech at the 24th COMESA Summit of Heads of State and Government held in Nairobi, Kenya. We shall also give you highlights from the 28th edition of the Mine Intra Conference in Bulawayo, which was officially opened by Vice President Constantino Chiwenga. Stay tuned for the latest details on the bus robbery case as police launch a manhunt for a group of armed robbers who pounced on the Zim-bound Delta cross-border bus in Limpopo province near the Nia Plaza. And for your sports updates, the Warriors face Bafana Bafana at Moses Mabhida Stadium on Friday in Group C World Cup qualifier. Zimbabwe, who are out of the running for the World Cup ticket in 2026, face South Africa, who have all to play for. And now for a closer look at the stories making the headlines. Thank you very much for joining us. President Mnangagwa has said Zimbabwe's assumption of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa vice chairmanship post gives the country a front row seat to shape the powerful bloc's agenda and advance regional integration. He made the remarks at the 24th COMESA Summit of the Heads of State and Government, which was held in Nairobi, Kenya, where he reaffirmed Zimbabwe's commitment to Pan-Africanism, economic cooperation and inclusive development. Now, the president has since returned home from the summit, where he also told fellow leaders that Africa needed to deepen economic integration and harness digitalization to drive sustainable growth.
From Bujumbura to Nairobi, the baton of leadership for one of Africa's largest trading blocs has changed hands. Burundi bowed out, Kenya took the helm, and Zimbabwe, now vice chair, is stepping into a pivotal role within COMESA's Beru, the steering body that shapes the bloc's agenda and future direction. President Mnangagwa believes Africa can foster sustainable growth by deepening economic integration and increasing intracontinental trade.
Zimbabwe acknowledges the tangible benefits derived from COMESA membership. Our businesses continue to access a wider regional market, while thousands of small-scale, especially our women and youth, benefit from simplified trade regimes that easy cross-border commerce.
The summit, themed Leveraging Digitalization to Deepen Regional Value Chains for Sustainable and Inclusive Growth, pressed governments to fast-track cross-border trade reforms, digital connectivity, and peace building, all key to unlocking Africa's collective potential. As vice chair, Zimbabwe will play a critical part in driving these priorities, linking national policies with regional goals under the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Our belief on the importance of unity of purpose, synergies and partnerships as we overcome obstacles and unlock the immense potential of our combined markets.
COMESA is more than a political club. It's an economic powerhouse of 21 member states, a combined market of over 600 million people, and a GDP surpassing $900 billion. For Zimbabwe, taking on the vice chair role is a major opportunity to influence regional trade policy, attract new investment, and expand markets for local industries. As Kenyan President William Ruto noted during the summit, the bloc's integration is not only economic, but social.
COMESA strength lies not only economic integration, but also in social and human integration. At the heart of our mission are our people and our shared determination to bridge the economic and social gaps that divide our region.
Before wrapping up and closing the ceremony as vice chair of the bloc, President Mnangagwa extended a warm invitation to all parties that were present at the summit, setting the tone for the next gathering.
We accept this noble responsibility with a sense of humility and look forward to deepen integration, peace, and sustainable development in our region. Accordingly, may I extend a cordial invitation to you, Your Excellencies, fellow heads of state and government, and distinguished delegates, to the 25th COMESA Summit that will be hosted by the Republic of Zimbabwe in Harare. You are all invited, and all of you will feel very happy in Harare.
As Kenya takes the chair and Zimbabwe steps in as vice chair, COMESA's focus now turns to trade, technology, and peace. For member states, the challenge is to turn policy into prosperity, and for Zimbabwe, to prove that regional leadership can translate into tangible growth back home.
The 28th edition of the Mining, Engineering and Transport Expo, MineEntra 2025, has opened in Bulawayo, with Vice President Dr. Constantino Chiwenga reaffirming government's commitment to ensuring that Zimbabwe's mineral wealth benefits all citizens. And Vice President Chiwenga was the acting president when he presided over the country's premier exhibition for mining, engineering and transport. Now our Bulawayo correspondent Andile Chuma gives us the details.
The 2025 Mining, Engineering and Transport Expo, MineEntra, is taking place against a backdrop of a resurgent mining sector. Gold output surged 37% to 32.98 tons in the first 9 months of the year, up from 24.2 tons over the same period in 2024. Officially opening the expo, Vice President Dr. Constantino Chiwenga said Zimbabwe's vast mineral endowment must be harnessed for broad-based empowerment and sustainable development. He emphasized that the country is open for business, not for extraction, calling for responsible partnerships anchored on beneficiation, value addition, and technology transfer.
The theme of this year's MineEntra, Beyond Extraction, Sustaining the Future of Mining, is both timely and visionary. It challenges us to reimagine mining, to move beyond the traditional model of resource exploitation and embrace a future defined by beneficiation, innovation, and community empowerment.
Mining remains the backbone of Zimbabwe's economy, contributing over 14% to the country's gross domestic product and supports thousands of livelihoods. Vice President Chiwenga said the sector must evolve from exporting raw minerals to driving industrialization and job creation. The Vice President also urged mining companies to handle the country's minerals with integrity.
To the miners who are here today and those who did not come, you are the custodian of our mineral wealth. Handle it with integrity. It is not yours. It is for the people of this land. It is for the future generations of this country.
Bulawayo Provincial Affairs and Devolution Minister Judith Ncube said the city remains proud to host MineEntra, a platform that strengthens Bulawayo's standing as Zimbabwe's industrial hub. She said the expo not only highlights mining, but also boosts Bulawayo's economy by bringing together industry players, investors, and innovators.
It is the natural center of local beneficiation, processing, and the heavy manufacturing of mining imports. When we speak of adding value to our minerals, we are speaking of utilizing the world-class engineering, foundry, and logistics capabilities concentrated right here in Bulawayo, in this metropolitan province.
Mines and Mining Development Minister Winston Chitando highlighted the sector's strong performance with a significant surge in gold output in the first 9 months of the year. The surge in gold production coincides with an unprecedented rally on international markets. Gold remains a pillar of foreign currency earnings alongside platinum and lithium, supporting the ZiG currency and national development.
The future of mining is where we have stakeholders who follow the ethos and principles of responsible mining. There is no space, there will not be space for players who can't follow the ethos and principles of responsible mining. Mining responsibly.
Mine Entra 2025 continues this week, reaffirming Zimbabwe's position among Africa's top mineral producers and strengthening the call for a shift from extraction to beneficiation. Established over 2 decades ago, the Expo has evolved into a pivotal event for sectors including mining, engineering, transport, and their associated industries. The exhibition attracts a diverse range of exhibitors, from heavy engineering and equipment suppliers to service providers in logistics, construction, and protective wear. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
And now in other news, Zimbabwe's export receipts reached $10.3 billion in the first 9 months of the year, up from $8.2 billion in the same period in 2024. And that's an increase of 26.8%. Now, according to the central bank's latest macroeconomic update, the country's export earnings have strengthened foreign currency reserves, which rose from $731 million in June to $900 million by the end of September 2025. Now, ZTN's business correspondent Eben Mabunda joins us live to help us put this development into perspective. Good evening, Eben. What does this mean for the local economy?
Good evening, Wadza. Some strong numbers there that are being released from Zimstat. An indication, of course, of the increased exports where the agricultural sector is concerned. Zimbabwe saw record highs where its tobacco output was concerned, and it's now starting to actually reflect at this particular point. But also of note is the fact that where the minerals are concerned, we've seen a fortification in terms of, or strengthening rather, in terms of the prices of gold, which have now just hit $4,000 US on the global markets. And this is the highest level witnessed since 1979, indicating about a 50-year high right up to this particular point. Also at the same time, we've seen a recovery where platinum group metals are concerned. They've taken a dip in 2023, 2024, but now we're seeing a recovery. What this means is that Zimbabwe has been able to boost its foreign currency reserves to about $900 million US. That's the equivalent of 1 month import cover. Now, a healthy aggregate would be about 6 months worth of import cover. So looking at the fact that we're coming from a very low base of about $350 million in April of 2024. Now we're sitting on 900 million. That's a positive indication, and this could spell positives for the Zimbabwean economy in the grand scheme of things.
Thank you so much, Eben. Have a good evening. That was Eben Mabunda just explaining what's happening with the Zimbabwe exports. Now, moving on, South African police have launched a manhunt for a group of armed robbers who shot dead 2 Zimbabweans on board a Delta cross-border bus in Limpopo province on Wednesday evening. Now, the deceased were in a Zimbabwe-bound bus that was traveling from Johannesburg with 60 passengers when tragedy struck. And the Limpopo police spokesperson, Colonel Malasela Ledwaba, said further investigations into the matter are underway.
The police have since opened cases of 2 counts of murder and armed robbery. The suspects are still at large and police investigations are continuing. The Provincial Commissioner of Police in Limpopo, Lieutenant General Thembi Hadebe, has strongly condemned the incident and has directed that a dedicated task team be established to track down the perpetrators involved in this matter. Anyone with information may contact Sergeant Matsipi Makwela on the number 076 786 1447 or Crime Stop number 08600 111 or may share information on MySubs app.
Coming up in our other local stories shortly after the break, Zimbabwe dangles a $9 billion carrot to energy investors.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind going, looking like the true.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. Now, picking up from where we left off, Zimbabwe's National Energy Compact is key to unlocking investment and also expanding access and driving sustainable growth. This is a collaborative blueprint for energy security and economic growth. This is what Energy and Power Development Minister July Moyo has said. He said this at the Africa Capital Markets Forum underway in Sandton, South Africa, where Zimbabwe joined Kenya and Ghana in presenting new energy opportunities to regional and global investors. We get more in the following report.
It's one of Africa's most prestigious financial gatherings, the Africa Capital Markets Forum in Johannesburg. And for Zimbabwe, the message was clear. The lights are coming on through partnership, innovation, and investment.
Then started initiating a process of how to get our compact both accepted in country and also get feedback from the international community. So as soon as we had our first draft, we called for a meeting of most stakeholders.
The minister's team outlined Zimbabwe's 5-pillar energy strategy, a framework built on collaboration between government, the private sector, and international partners. Howard Choga, director for ZETDC Transmission, says that from expanding renewable energy projects to powering farms and homes long left in the dark, the compact sets ambitious but achievable goals.
Through sourcing or financing of these via the private sector or private equity. Now, just to give you a bit about the landscape of the generation subsector in ZESA, in the country, I think the figures were shown on the video. Through government-owned...
Large power users are being encouraged to build their own energy sources, solar or thermal, within 2 years. Over 21,000 hectares of wheat are now supported by a dedicated power supply, while private players are stepping in to electrify more than 370 previously unconnected housing developments.
We took the Southern African Power Pool, and we had the West African Power Pool were there, the East African Power Pool were there, and I was fortunate there were only 2 ministers who were invited, the minister from Nigeria and myself.
It's a high-stakes plan, with total investments topping $9 billion. Of that, Zimbabwe is seeking $4 billion from partners to fast-track implementation, most being channeled to the rural areas.
That we have put in place is an electricity levy that helps the rural community where we have the lowest electrification to get electrified. And we collect through the utility 6% of the electricity bill, and we raise about 75 million per year.
With the National Energy Compact now on the regional stage, Zimbabwe is signaling readiness not just to power its economy, but to help light up Southern Africa.
In other news, senators have questioned the plan to introduce prepaid water meters, saying the move could further burden citizens who are already struggling with erratic water supplies. Now, the concerns were raised during today's question and answer session in the Senate. More details in the following report for you.
Responding to a question from Senator Maggie Chakabuda on government's plan to fix blocked drainage systems, As the rainy season approaches, Leader of Government Business and Parliament Minister Ziyambi said the introduction of prepaid water meters is envisaged to help local authorities collect more revenue. He said the funds would then be used to repair and improve the country's water reticulation system. Most cities in Zimbabwe are owed millions of dollars by corporates and individuals due to unpaid water bills.
The task now being to introduce water metering, be able to raise money through the partner, to do water reticulation, improve the water conveyancing, because we lose a lot of water currently through conveyancing, but also to improve the revenue collection, because you now use the water that you buy water and use the water that will be bought.
Zimbabwe's capital Harare began rolling out prepaid water meters this year, but the move has been met with strong opposition from human rights activists. They argue that access to water is a constitutional right and that linking it to payment first violates that right. Senators in today's session echoed the same concerns.
Tese tinoziva muno muZimbabwe kuti vakwegura vazhinji vari pamapenjeni havatambiri mari inopfuura $40 pamwedzi. Zvichange zvichizogadzirudzwa sei zvakadaro izvozvo panyaya yekuti vanhu vanenge vakutenga mvura?
Minister Ziyambi responded that water services are paid for anyway, whether prepaid or not. However, senators argue that prepaid meters force people to pay upfront before accessing water, a move they said could disadvantage low-income households who can barely afford it now.
Is the prepaid water regime alive to the fact that people who are completely incapable may get water, as is in the current situation, where there is stepped tariffs, which are about a baseline of about 21
Senator Zhidzayi was advised to put his question into writing with accurate statistics to get a better response. Cheryl Munjinjema for ZTN News at Parliament.
And still on water-related issues, residents of Glenview's Ward 31 are up in arms over what they believe is a City of Harare order to remove a solar-powered community borehole. That's a facility they describe as their only reliable source of clean water. Now, the city has been battling water challenges for decades, and the borehole reportedly serves close to 2,800 people. But as our reporter Talent Gore found out, the City Council says there may have been a minor misunderstanding.
For residents of Ward 31 in Glenville, this borehole is more than just a water point. It's a lifeline.
Borehole redu robviswa here nekuda kwevanhu 4 chete. Vanhu 4 ndo vakosha zvekuuya kuti vanhu more than 2,800 vagone kutambudzika. Todzokera here mukorera yatakabva 2008. Vanhu voparara here nekuda kwekushayiwa maservices. Kanzuru ichiita negligence dzekuti inouya kuti izoisa mastands panzvimbo yakaita seiyoyi.
Many here say they were shocked to learn that the city of Harare had allegedly ordered the removal of the solar-powered borehole within 48 hours to pave way for 4 residential stands.
Please, mvura iyi ndo yatisiri kuda kuti itambwe nayo. Unless kanzuru yakutotaura kuti ichatipa bhauza everyday kudzimba dzedu ichitipa bhauza zvino vangazozvigona nhasi kumashure kwese kutanga tichisafa. Takanwa mvura yekumfukukuru kuchibhorani chisati chapo. Kunofukura mvura kuzasi kuti kanwa mvura isiri protected. Nhasi tapuwa protected na president. Protected mvura iri protected na president. Imakuya sekanzuru miti mauda kubvisa mauda kupa vanhu just for kuti vanhu 2,800 vasafe nekuda kwevanhu 4 chete.
Residents are also threatening to take matters into their own hands, literally.
Saka yes na meno mazukuru vakuberekwa ava vakuda kutitandanisira mbwedu yataka izona president pano
Hauda kutoa nzimbo ya njani tupane wanu 4 walokosha mimi ndaka ndio 4 walokosha kufuna 280 something thousand and mugeni walokosha jiyo they so special on your why are they so special ndo wako ba state mahombe futhi asiye ekuno ekuma ukoko malo saka ili kuti atisi kudaba kuti mvula ishayikwe panapa.
The borehole saves nearly 3,000 residents in a suburb where running water is scarce. Well, it's not only the suburb, but the gospel across the city. Those with the means have sunk boreholes, while they have not now rely on these community facilities.
Ike zvinondofunga tine ma-residents akati wandei ari kubenefita through chibhorani ichochi. And ofuchi council yacho ingataura kuti yakuisa ningi panapa ma-stands, but mvura chaiyo as a society. Furthermore, tine chiimba chedu chiri pa setup chemagesi. Ndofunga last time takamboita area yekuti chakatsva chiimba chemagesi icho. Tikapinda busy pari open zvapari papa umwe aibva nebhaketi remvura umwe this area umwe tichitry kuti ti rescue chiimba ichi. Saka ndopatiri kuti kana maisa ma-stands sezvavari kuita sekanzo vanhu varidzive nzvimbo hatisi kuzviramba, but toti taita area yemoto apo tinopinda sei even fire brigade yacho nhasi inokwanisa here kumhanya ichizosekiwa that nini.
However, the city of Harare insists the community may have misunderstood its intentions. Despite several attempts to get a comment from council, the city spokesperson Stanley Gama could not be reached for clarity. Residents remain skeptical.
Chibhorani ichi chakaisiwa zvaita sei kana vaiziva kuti vada kuzoputsa choenda kupi kana vachibisa ichi chichibetsera community yese. Saka izvozvo isi tine simba redu riri muhove riri mumvura, simba redu hapana munhu anofanirwa kubisa kuchibhorani ichi.
Well, you have heard it from the community itself, which is saying that they will try by all means to protect this bore, which is serving about 2,800 people in this community. In as much as council is saying that they want to pave way for just 4 stands, this community is not going to let this borehole go. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Talent Gori in Glenview.
The late Brigadier General retired Mpanda Sekwa, whose Chimurenga name was Comrade Ketani Kanye, has been described as patriotic. He served the nation with distinction both during and after the liberation struggle. Now, Brigadier General retired Mjeri passed away on October 6 at a local hospital in Harare. He was 75 and survived by his wife and 4 children. He was born on March 7, 1950 in Berengwa District, Midlands Province. And speaking during the funeral parade held at Charles Gumbo Barracks, Zimbabwe National Army Commander General Emmanuel Matatu hailed the late Mjeri as a dedicated and disciplined ZNA member.
He was awarded the following medals for his continued dedication, selflessness, and exemplary service to the nation. Liberation War Medal for his contribution towards the independence of Zimbabwe. The 10-year service medal for his immense contribution to the integration, the formation, and development of the Zimbabwe National Army during its first 15 years of existence. The long and exemplary service medal for his exemplary service and continuous service for 15 years. The Mozambique Campaign Medal for his contribution towards the restoration of peace and stability in Mozambique, and the Grand Officer of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit Award for his eminent achievement and distinguished service to Zimbabwe and to humanity at large.
Government has set plans in motion to establish modern maintenance camps along all major road projects, while in some areas, old camps will be rehabilitated. The Ministry of Transport today commissioned a model maintenance camp in Beitbridge. More in the following report.
In the heart of southern Zimbabwe, a new era of road maintenance has been set in motion. The Ministry of Transport this Thursday launched a Unity Camp in Beitbridge, a strategic location along the bustling Beitbridge-Chirundu Highway. The camp is expected to improve responsiveness, efficiency, and unlock economic opportunities for communities.
And as the Ministry are working towards recapacitating our maintenance units across the country to include preventative maintenance so that we actually are proactive and work on maintenance before we have major crises on our roads.
This development comes as part of wider multifaceted program rolled out earlier this year to revive the country's network of maintenance camps. The camp was built in partnership with the Zimborders Consortium, 4 kilometers north of Beitbridge town, as part of the $300 million out of port project. Zimborders Consortium General Manager Nqobe says the newly launched Unity Camp will help boost local employment in the area. The facility includes both office space and residential accommodation for staff.
This modern, durable and aesthetically designed complex, situated on a 15,600 square meter site, is a comprehensive and self-contained operational hub.
Minister of State for Matabeleland Albert Ngulube held the government's commitment to improve the country's infrastructure, citing the importance of proactive measures in maintaining high-quality roads and enhancing service delivery.
Constructing is easy, but maintaining the place is more difficult. Most of the time that you find that when they're constructing, whether it's a building, whether it's a road or that building needs to be maintained. And with having such a facility, we are sure that especially main road, highway, is going to be maintained throughout.
This initiative comes at a time when the country has begun major road construction nationwide. These units are expected to play a pivotal role in assisting authorities to transition from reactive patchwork to proactive maintenance. For ZTN Prime, I am Sitachi Gwaza in Beitbridge.
We'll catch you up on what's happening in the world around us when we return. This is Newsplus coming to you live from Harare. Let's now take a look at what's happening in the DRC. The World Health Organization says the Democratic Republic of Congo has been battling its largest ever mpox outbreak since 2023. Now, vaccination campaigns began in early 2025 in the most affected provinces, including South Kivu, amid rising infections and limited access to healthcare. Health authorities in Uvira launched a new vaccination campaign against mpox, also known as monkeypox, after recording more than 2,000 cases and at least 10 deaths since the outbreak began.
Notre zone de santé d'Uvira a lancé depuis le 29 septembre 2025 la troisième campagne de vaccination contre le mpox. Car vous allez vous souvenir que au mois de janvier, nous avons organisé une campagne. Au mois de mai, nous avons organisé la deuxième. Maintenant, nous sommes à notre troisième édition de la campagne de vaccination contre la mpox. Et cette campagne devait prendre 10 jours avec un jour de ratissage. Donc, théoriquement, elle se termine aujourd'hui.
And now on to Eswatini. The U.S. deported 10 migrants to Manzini as part of an agreement under which Washington sends undocumented migrants who have committed crimes to so-called third countries instead of their countries of origin. And in return, Eswatini receives funding to support border control and migration management. Now, several non-profit organizations, including the Rural Women's Assembly, strongly opposed the agreement and challenged it in court, claiming that it violates human rights and constitutional laws, as migrants had previously been convicted of crimes, including murder and rape.
Imithwalo le njengale siyasaba nje njengoba usibona nje sigcwele la
asikajabuli kungoba sikhathatekile kuphume ngisho letihamba ngelibhoko njengoba utibonela nje akusiko umdlalo ukuthi labo gogo bangashiya abatukulu babo bete la enkantolo lenkulu yesive bafisa ukuthi vela bona ngetindlela tabo nekutibonela ukuthi vele kwendekeni eveni. Nangikhumbula kahle vele kwesithathu sita la enkantolo lelicala sololi kuthiwa alibuye kulokulandzelako kuthiwa alibuye kulokulandzelako kuthiwa alibuye kulokulandzelako loku senta sesimancikanika ukuthi vele ngabe vele liyawugcina ikhulunyisiwe inlendzaba noma kuyawugcina nje kuthulekile kukanje. Sikhathatekile kakhulu seyinhlangano yabomake labasemakhaya.
Now, the AU and UN have developed a unique partnership rooted in the principles of complementarity, respect, and African ownership, a partnership that has become a cornerstone of multilateralism. Recently, calls were made to deepen the cooperation between the UN and the AU on peacekeeping, on development and governance to address security challenges in Africa jointly.
当前非洲大陆并不安宁。 苏丹、刚果金冲突尚未平息，索马里、萨赫勒地区反恐形势严峻，多国政治安全局势不稳。联合国和安理会要支持非盟和次区域组织积极斡旋调解，以非洲方式解决非洲问题，同时发挥自身作用，及时提供助力，形成合力。国际社会应尊重 非洲国家主权和主导权，避免外部干涉施压、滥施单边制裁，为冲突解决营造良好外部环境。
And now on to India. At least 15 people were killed and 2 were rescued after a private bus was buried by a massive landslide in Himachal Pradesh Bilaspur district. This bus, carrying an estimated 30 to 35 passengers, was traveling when an entire hillside collapsed onto it amid heavy rainfall near Balu Bridge in the Beratin area.
कल ऑलमोस्ट 6:45 बजे शाम को हमारे तक न्यूज़ पहुंची कि ऐसे एक लैंडस्लाइड हुआ है जिसमें बस फंस गई है एक। तो कल शाम की घटना है ये। अभी करंट स्टेटस जो है कल रात को 15 बॉडीज़ यहाँ से रिकवर की गई, जिसमें से मतलब कोई भी नहीं बचा, तो 15 डेथ्स थी यहाँ से जो रिपोर्ट हुई, और 2 बच्चे थे जिनको जिंदा रेस्क्यू किया गया यहाँ से, वो एम्स में ट्रीटमेंट के लिए भेजे गए हैं, और एक बच्चा है जो अभी मिसिंग है और उसी का सर्च ऑपरेशन चल रहा है।
We've just given you your global updates, and now coming up in business, groundbreaking partnership to lower fish production cost.
Welcome wherever you are, and Mamouche room to shoot. He well and truly did. It's an opportunity. What a shot to Sono! Tarkowski. Scott's got to be careful. Bukayo Saka. But it's Salah, and that one delivers!
Never miss a play, home or away. Stream all Premier League games live on Showmax.
Harare. Tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
We now take a look at our business updates. In a strategic move to scale up Zimbabwe's aquaculture industry, Finfish, in partnership with Danish giant Alec Aqua, has launched a new fish feed supply that is set to lower production costs to drive competition and transform fish farming into a viable enterprise. We give you more in the following report.
With feed accounting for over 70% of production costs, farmers believe the entry of a new player will spur competition, reduce prices, and revive fish farming as a sustainable livelihood. The government is aiming at producing over 600,000 metric tons of fish annually, and the coming in of different partners in the production of fish feed is set to scale up the sector. For Dr. Salvinius Guarinda, a fish farmer, the partnership is a good initiative, and they are ready to support the new player through pilot testing the product.
With competition, normally there's always a competitive pricing which will come into the industry. So we expect pricing for fish feed to go down. 70% of our costs as fish farmers actually goes to fish feed.
The burden of high feed prices has been felt across board, but more so by women in the sector who have struggled to stay afloat amid rising costs. Women in Fish Farming Zimbabwe chairperson Tendai Rugare says the new product is a game changer, offering hope for improved productivity and a pathway to financial empowerment.
So if we get good feed that we're actually pushing into our farming activities, it will actually help capacitate women, because as OfishNet we are campaigning for visibility, capacitation and involvement of women into the fisheries sector. So for the women that we are already working with, this is a game changer, because you don't want a larger period of time without you releasing a product into the market. So if this feed comes in, it actually, tallies with the growth rates.
Founded in 1964, Ala Aqua is one of Europe's leading fish feed producers, with operations in Denmark, Poland, Germany, Egypt, China, Zambia, and Serbia. Its entry into Zimbabwe brings advanced feed technologies that improve growth rates, ensure consistent sizes, and enhance feed conversion ratios, crucial for boosting productivity and profitability. For Finfish, the goal is clear: to make quality, affordable feed accessible to every fish farmer and to help Zimbabwe build a $1 billion fisheries industry.
This company, which we've partnered, has been in the industry for a very long time, and their objective is to provide the market with a very competitive price and very competitive and well-prepared quality top feed.
The partnership also complements the Presidential Community Fisheries Scheme, a flagship program promoting fish farming as a driver of rural development, nutrition, and income generation. Agriculture Deputy Minister Honorable Davis Marabira says such collaborations strengthen local value chains, boost feed efficiency, and make the sector more profitable and sustainable.
It's an added advantage to our farmers. Besides that, the price is low, and that will bring competition within the fish industry. In that, when the price is lower, production will be higher, and the people will be able to consume more fish because it will be affordable. Instead of buying a kg of fish for a wholesale price of $3 and a retail price of $5 to $6.
As Zimbabwe pushes to become a regional leader in aquaculture, these public-private partnerships mark a vital step towards food security, employment creation, and farmer empowerment. For ZTM Prime, I am Mashutu Mambo in Harare.
Zimbabwe's services industry found it easy to access bank credit, while employment levels were steady in the second quarter of this year. That's according to the latest official data. Now, the Services Business Tendency Survey conducted by the Zimbabwe National Statistics Agency revealed that 27.1% of businesses found access to bank credit easy. They found it easy during the first quarter, compared with 14.2% who said it was difficult. This translated into a positive net balance of 12.9 percentage points, suggesting a modest easing of financial constraints across most sectors. And despite easier borrowing conditions, the volume of demand across the services industry showed little momentum. And in accommodation and food services, one of the largest urban employers, 45.7% of respondents' demand was unchanged from the first quarter, while 34.3% of operators reported a decline. Still on business, the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, ZITF company, continues to assert its growing influence as a key driver of national development, with plans to expand its footprint through a bigger regional mining exhibition that will strengthen economic integration and industrial collaboration. ZITF Board Chairman Bosisa Moyo said that the company's mandate remained central to fostering national interaction and driving economic transformation through dynamic platforms. The envisioned expansion of ZITF exhibitions into broader regional platforms signals Zimbabwe's growing influence in facilitating trade, investment, and dialogue across Southern Africa's mining landscape, positioning ZITF as a true catalyst for national and regional industrial growth. Those were your business updates this Thursday evening. Coming up is entertainment.
Didn't graduate? I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
That guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
The entertainment world is abuzz at the moment, and you'll find that reggae music has created a special bond between Kingston and Harare, a connection that was cemented in 1980 when Bob Marley visited Zimbabwe for the independence celebrations at Rufaro. Now, the late reggae prophet paved the way for many stars and acts from the Caribbean islands who now consider Zimbabwe as their second home. Notable names include Buju Banton, Luciano, Coco T, Morgan Heritage, Mr. Vegas, and Sean Paul, who have visited Zimbabwe for shows. Now, at a press conference held earlier today, Jamaican artist Busy Signal said Zimbabwe and Jamaica's relations will continue to be strengthened by music.
Well, for me, I'm looking into different things, signing artists and musicians, players of instrument, band members, different type of things. We're looking into different things in the background. So we can't say we have reached to that peak of the decision as yet, but we're looking into things because it's always great to collab and to have different people from different parts of the world to give this stuff a different flavor and a different blend. So I'm always looking into working with other artists closely than just doing a one-off. We're always looking forward to working with artists, working with musicians, working with wherever the opportunity is, wherever the opportunity lies. Once it's great for us and the decisions that we make with the team, it's always good from this angle.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You want to add something? Just add something, then we cross over to the next artist. Thank you.
Just on that one, to answer your question.
Now, Toki Vibes has vowed to move forward despite incurring a loss over $25,000 after his album launch at Alexandra Sports Club in Harare fell flat. The talented chanter, who has been trending due to the underwhelming attendance at his new album, Mushangu Rapata, remains focused despite the social media backlash. Tuesday marked the start of Zimbabwe Fashion Week, which will conclude on Saturday with more than 10 designers and fashion talks taking place at the Hyatt Regency in Harare. Now, for Hilda, it's more than just another fashion show. It's a personal milestone. A former top model and international pageant queen, she is stepping into a new spotlight, showcasing her very first collection under her own brand, Hills Couture.
Hello everybody, hello fashion lovers.
My name is Hilda Mabu. I'm founder and creative director of Newsplus. Our collection for the Zimbabwe Fashion Week 25 is very intentional. We've incorporated some very bold and bright colors and a touch of tropical prints.
This is where all the magic happens. This is our tailoring room, and there is our tailor. He's already working on the pieces that we're going to give you on the 10th of October. And that's our table where we do all the cutting and designing.
Now, from those entertainment updates, shortly after the break, we'll give you a story on how the Warriors seek to derail Bafana Bafana World Cup dream. The Warriors face Bafana Bafana at Moses Mabhida Stadium on Friday in Group C World Cup qualifier. Zimbabwe are out of the running for the World Cup ticket in 2026, but South Africa have all to play for. And after they lost 3 points for using a suspended player in one of their matches, South Africa are now level on points with Benin and must now win their last 2 games to ensure qualification. So, will the Warriors derail Bafana Bafana?
I think it's a special game, even like when your parents are telling you that you guys cannot lose. So I think it's more of redeeming ourselves and also, you know, making our supporters happy, making the country happy, because we also haven't been having the best of results. So I think for us it's more of playing for our pride, making sure that we make Zimbabwe happy, because obviously everybody feels like it's a dead rubber, but you know, we need to get a good result against them because they are our direct opponents, especially the AFCON. It's more of like feeling the ball, you know, passing the ball around, you know, a bit of movement, because some of us traveled for quite a long trip yesterday, so I think we couldn't do much today, just also to do some set piece and, you know, try to see what the coach is planning for the game, because obviously tomorrow we won't be able to do much at the stadium because, you know, in African football there's always eyes, especially when you want to do tactics, so I think it's just more of tactics and feeling the ball today.
Teenage Hadebe believes the match is still important for Zimbabwe regardless of the situation.
So wonke umuntu uzimisele ukudlala le game because siyazi ukuthi iqhathe umnganani igame leyo, not as to ama players but kuma families labantu abase Zimbabwe siyazi bayafuna ukuthi siwine igame leyo. So
ZIFA, in partnership with the FIFA campus, is holding a 2 essential course in club management, which got underway in Harare today. Now, the 2-day program brings together football administrators and club executives from the Premier Soccer League, Zimbabwe Women's Premier Soccer League, as well as the current top 2 teams in each of the 4 regional Division 1 leagues. Now, ZIFA President Ngobile Magwizi says the workshop comes at the right time as it helps change a lot in the local football landscape from the top flight down to the lower leagues.
You will notice with the club professionalization workshops that FIFA is carrying out today, in Southern Africa, Zimbabwe is the first to receive it. And what they are going to be touching on is issues on club licensing, marketing and commercialization of clubs, the financial aspects, the planning, and of course governance issues. The facilitators are well experienced. I mean, they are global facilitators that have been doing this for years. They know what works and what doesn't work, and they are coming at a time when we really need them to ensure that we prepare ourselves for a greater chance of success going into the future. So it's one of many that will come. This is the first, but we are definitely going to be unpacking or rolling out even more programs for clubs, perhaps even in Division 2 in the provinces. We'll be looking at also strengthening even at school level.
Now, ZIFA has established an ad hoc committee of inquiry to investigate the controversial withdrawal of Sheersham Football Club from the ZIFA Central Region Soccer League. This comes in the wake of recommendations made by the ZIFA Legal and Player Status Committee. Now, according to a statement released by the association, the committee is expected to look into the full circumstances that are surrounding Shersham FC's withdrawal and determine whether the club followed the proper channels and internal remedies that are available under ZIFA and the Central Region's statutes. The committee will operate under a clear mandate, which includes investigating the circumstances that led to Shersham FC's exit from the league, establishing whether all internal remedies were exhausted before the decision, and also assessing the Central Region's response to any formal complaints that were lodged by the club. Still on sport, Eastern Region Division log leaders Masvingo United have set their sights on winning the sole promotion ticket back to the Premier Soccer League next season, as they currently lead the log table by a point with 3 rounds of matches left before the season ends. Masvingo United Secretary General Suwanai Shonai is delighted by how his side has fared so far and is promising to repay the faith of the fans by gaining promotion to the top flight next season.
Mashoko andingaudza vakomana ndeyekuti ngatitambe bhora sepakutanga tiwine magames asara, then road yedu yakachena. Kana tikangodaro hapana problem. Ruzhinji rweZimbabwe ndiri kurudzwa kuti Yunaina is back. Yunaina yadzoka muligi, iri kudzoka muligi, saka tarisirai kuzowana bhora mamucheke.
Shonai also called on his charges to replicate their top form ahead of the final 3 games of the season, and he's confident that the Mucheke community will host Premier League football next year.
Mashoko andingaudza vakomana ndeyekuti ngatitambe bhora sepakutanga tiwine magames asara, then road yedu yakachena. Kana tikangodaro hapana problem. Ruzhinji rweZimbabwe ndiri kurudzwa kuti Yunaina is back. Yunaina yadzoka muligi, iri kudzoka muligi, saka tarisirai kuzowana bhora mamucheke.
And that's a wrap on Thursday's edition of Newsplus. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Wadzanai Sansole. Now, coming up next on ZTN Prime is The Chase with Faith Nyaude. We'll leave you watching the weather.